back, beautiful souls. This is a continuation of the video, oh gee, I really am the creator. What is the inner work? So in the description of this YouTube channel, I wrote, this channel is about the inner work. It's what you hear a lot of spiritual teachers say, like, you gotta do the inner work, you gotta do the inner work, and what is the work, right? So this is what my channel is about, and I'm trying to break things down in a simple way that can be easily received and digested. And I wanted my channel to be really casual, like you're sitting down having coffee with me, that type of feeling or vibration, that energy. Like, I'm not putting myself up on some pedestal and, like, you know, on like this get up and, you know, like, this is me, like, roll out of bed, no makeup, don't do my hair. I'm like, you know, in my bathing suit, throw on a shirt and just make a video, like very casual, authentic, real. Yeah, so I'm lucky I put a little lip gloss on, maybe. So that's what I wanted to come across as, like, relatable, down to earth. Like, here I am, like, I'm a friend, like, you could talk to me. So, and Karma, my sidekick, Karma, come over here. Karma, come here. Come here. Come here, monkey, we're making a video. No, you're gonna be shy? Okay, well, Karma will make another appearance. So, this is about, you know, what is the inner work? And there's all different levels, okay? Because we're all awakening and processing and having these epiphanies at all different rates, right? So what I say to you might not apply to you now, but maybe down the road it might apply to you. So basically, the inner work, if I can just sum it up in a nutshell, is taking responsibility for your life, all of it. And some people might not be ready to hear that. And this is a hard one to swallow, because that means, when I say all of it, that means the good and the bad. And bad really is only a term that humans use in third dimension duality. But there is no bad in the higher dimensions. Everything just is. It's experience. There's no judgment about it. We, as humans, judge everything. Good, bad, hot, cold, up, down. There's judgment and there's duality here. And that's okay. It's part of our experience. But it's good to understand and be aware of that. That in the higher realms and the higher dimensions, maybe from your God self, there is no judgment and there is no bad. It's just an experience, right? And a lot of people might argue with me too, and this is really where it gets really tricky, because I've had these conversations with awakened spiritual people that aren't fully there. There's still some walls and resistance and blockages, and they're not fully accepting. And I'll give you an example. So in my previous video, I said there is truth with a little t and truth with a capital T. And truth with a capital T is, for example, gravity, right? You know gravity exists in this third dimension. I mean, you don't wake up in the morning and you say to yourself, I wonder if I'm gonna get out of bed and float to the ceiling, or I wonder if gravity is working today. We don't question it, we just know it is. Just like if I take this labradorite crystal and drop it into my hand, I know it's gonna fall. And I know 10 out of 10 times that I let go of this crystal, it's gonna fall into my hand. I don't say, well, maybe one time out of the 10, it's not gonna fall. No, it's gonna fall because there's gravity. That's just a universal law, it just is. So the law of attraction, like attracts like 100% of the time, no exceptions, no ifs, ands, or buts, is one of those laws, like the law of gravity. And there's a lot of people that can't accept that because there's some really traumatic things that have happened in their lives or they've experienced, and they would say, well, why would I want that? Why would I attract that into my life? And they're not ready to accept that. And I get it, you know, I was at that point in my life too, when I first learned about this. There's that resistance that comes up, and that's the ego, you know, mind, like protecting ourselves. Like, why would I choose to come into the world like that and feel abandoned and unloved my whole life? I mean, that is just like the worst feeling in the world. Like, who wants that? Horrible way to live. You know, I couldn't accept that. And then, you know, maybe you find the higher meaning to it. Maybe you find the grace in it. You know, maybe you don't in this lifetime. I don't know. I was lucky to find the grace in my suffering and in my pain. And it was because I learned that I chose it. I would say, well, why would I choose to be abandoned? Why would I choose? Well, some of the reasons were I learned I chose to come into this lifetime without family attachments because I wanted this lifetime to be about my own self-growth and to become independent and self-sufficient and step into my true power, my true voice without the family attachments. And, you know, while family is wonderful, family also, you know, comes with responsibilities and attachments and a lot of drama, I see a lot of my friends with, you know, families, and there's always like drama and pull here, pull there, I gotta do this or that. And like, I don't have any of that. I have my daughter, and that's my family. And not that I don't have family, and I'm not saying like the family that adopted me is not my family, they are, but we're not close in that way. So I don't have that. And I learned that one of the reasons why is because this lifetime is about me. And so that kind of helped. It kind of puts things in a different perspective. And then the other big thing that I learned was, well, why did I choose to come into the world and be abandoned like the way that I did? And on one of my videos, I think it's Why Would You Take Advice From Me, I explain a little bit about how I came into the world. And I received the guidance from my guardian angels, and they said, well, you chose that because you wanted to feel that abandonment and feel the opposite of unconditional love and feel all that heartache and anguish and despair so that you can then heal that, you know, heal it and rise above it, rise out of it, and then be able to write about it and offer it to the world and help others heal their hearts. And I thought, wow, I mean, that was one of those stop dead in my tracks moments where I'm just like, wow, okay, I get it, and I feel that, like, that resonates with me so much, and I accept this mission, you know, I'm 100% for it, you know. And then so like I could never be the victim anymore. My victim state was when something would happen, it would trigger my abandonment issue. I would go hysterical crying, and it could be something little, right? Then the next thing you know, I'm on the floor hysterically crying, saying, nobody loves me. My mother doesn't even love me. My mother doesn't want me. My father doesn't want me. Nobody wants me. Nobody loves me. And I would go so down into the depths of pity and despair and loneliness and complete unloveliness. It was just horrible. And that's what I would do over and over again in my life. I was playing this victim role. And I'm sure there's many of you that would understand and say, yeah, well, look at the way your life turned out. And like, of course, we get it, you know? And yeah, as human beings, we can relate to each other and understand. But you know, we can't stay there. Like I couldn't stay there. I had to rise out of it. because it wasn't my place to stay in this victim role of poor me. I had to rise out of it so then I could be a pioneer and a light and create new healing energetic pathways for others to follow. This was my purpose. And I don't know if this is resonating with anyone, but you know, the inner work means taking responsibility for everything in your life. And it's a hard pill to swallow. Like, people say, well, what about people that were like abused as a child? You know, there's so much sexual abuse and molestation and like all these awful things. And I'm like, yeah, you know, maybe on a conscious level you don't realize it, but on a soul level, on a subconscious level, like, you chose that. Your soul chose this. And maybe it was to balance out a karma with this person, you know, or maybe it was to heal something really deep and to be able to heal that and forgive that person and to rise out of it. And, you know, like, when you do that, you have to understand you are actually changing the vibration of the collective, of the whole grid of Gaia. When you heal something that immense, that deep, that painful, that other people have also experienced, you are healing it for the masses. You know, you're creating like another exit point for other people to come out of their victim mode, their heartache and pain and suffering, to see the light and rise above it too. And it's really hard for some people, and I get it. So, you know, I just wanted to put that out there, that the law of attraction is like attracts like 100% of the time. And that like could be dislike. Maybe when the dislike attracts dislike 100% of the time, but that's the way it is, you know. It's an absolute truth. So part of doing the inner work is being responsible for your life and all of it. You know, your outer world, what you see outside of yourself, the physical manifestation that's showing up, is due to your inner beliefs and your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, your projections. What you're putting out there is showing back up to you. It's simple, but it's not an easy pill to swallow when you're stuck on a karmic loop, for example, and you can't get off of it. In Buddhism, they call this samsara. It's the wheel of suffering. And you're just going around and around and you're around and you're like, well, I didn't create this. Here it is again. Oh, I didn't create this. Here it is again. Why would I create that? Like, until you take responsibility for your life, you're never going to shift or change, or it's not going to happen. Because when you project and put blame out there and don't take responsibility, you can't make a change. Because you are the creator. And that's why we came here, to be creators or co-creators, however you want to call it, of our realities, of our experience. And it could be this beautiful experience, or it could be a hellish nightmare experience, or it could be a combination of both. It could be all of it. And there's no judgment. In the higher dimensions, there's no qualifying or judging things. It just is. And I wanted to explain that and offer that to you, to sit with it. And this is a big one, and it's a hard one, and to start to reflect on your life and the things in your life that are repeating themselves, that aren't pleasing to you, that you'd rather not see show up. Like, usually there's a pattern, and behind that pattern, usually there's an unhealed trauma or deep-seated wound that just needs to be healed. And that will be another video, and it's like, okay, how do we heal that? This video is just an overview of what is the work and the steps you have to take. First is, one, you have to accept the fact that you are the creator of your life, all of it, good and bad, and take responsibility for it all, good and bad. Stop blaming your parents and the government and the world and Gaia. How many people say, oh, it's climate change? Okay, that's ridiculous. Okay, stop blaming the planet for all these problems in the world. It's just, stop. all of it. Just take responsibility. If you want a new world, you have to start by changing you. You are the creator, and we're all collectively creating this mass experience or this massive reality. So we have our individual realities, and then we have a collective reality. And the collective reality is also called consensus reality. That means all of us on some type of subconscious level have agreed to participate and create this collective reality that we're seeing in the world, whether we're aware of it or not. And that's the other thing I want to say to you, whether you are aware of it or not, you're creating your life every single day. And a lot of us are creating on default, meaning we're just not conscious. We're just going on along in our lives, and we keep creating things that we don't want to experience. It's because we're living from our subconscious programming, and that needs to be upgraded. And there needs to be a reboot of that in order for us to create and consciously be a co-creator, like on purpose. So I'm going to leave you with those little seeds and pearls of wisdom. It's a lot to handle, I know. And if you like to journal, I would suggest maybe, getting a little journal and start writing things out, like things you want to experience in your life, and maybe things that you'd like to stop experiencing in your life. To start, that's where you start, just to start taking inventory of your life, reflect on it, and that's where we go from there, okay? So thanks for tuning in and listening. I hope this was helpful. Blessings of love always from my heart to yours. Aloha. The soul fire in me, I give to you. Aho. To learn more about my offerings, visit my website at igniteyoursoulfire.com. Please subscribe to my channel and comment below, my soul family. Thank you for being here on our precious planet Gaia at this time. Your light matters. You matter. You make a difference in the world by just being you. Ahuiho, until our hearts meet again. You are loved.